San Diego Comic-Con is still a few hours away from kicking off with preview night. That doesn't mean we haven't already gotten some reveals, some of which I am very excited about. One from Marvel Legends and another from MAFEX, and it's been long overdue. I've been waiting, clamoring for this guy to finally get a great figure. It looks like we finally have it. Let's take a look at all of these figure reveals right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. So, San Diego Comic Con hasn't officially gotten started, but I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of these over the next few days. Very, very excited about that. MAFEX is like, nah, we don't even need to wait. Here's some new figures that are going to be coming up for pre order real soon. Let's take a look at the first one. It's Punisher. And this one really evokes that Mike Zeck style. I don't quite know if I like everything about it, but I see what they were going for with it. And from that perspective, I think it's a kind of cool Punisher figure. Definitely fits in this Mafex style. I've been hearing some people going, I don't like the head sculpt, but I feel like they're what they're trying to do, they basically captured it. And unlike anything from DC, we can have these guns blazing. So that looks pretty cool to see that at the open holster. It's a solid looking paint job. I mean, it's simple. It's black. It's white. Yeah. But it looks so cool in the Punisher. And when they start mix it up, changing up some of the colors, kind of loses it for me. But this classic look of Punisher just looks really cool. And look at this head sculpt. Definitely feel a little bit of the Punisher Sega arcade game that they released for the system. This is pretty fun too. I like this one. It looks like, yep, you're done with all your bullets. Now it's my turn. And got that Uzi. So Snake Eyes needs another one in your classified series collection. Here's a nice looking one. And then, so here's what I want to show you, like the Mike Zeck style. So you can really see where they're drawing their inspiration from. So big, brawny, big Punisher. Here's the Uzi. I mean, it's kind of like they're trying to mirror some of these poses here. So you get an idea of what they were going for. Now, this smirk doesn't quite match up with this because this is an intense Punisher. And really, if Mike Zeck is drawing something, that becomes a really straight up, definitive look for a character. I think his Punisher is it. Nobody, except for maybe Jim Lee, comes close to it. This is like an intimidating looking Punisher. Here's another look at Mike Zeck Punisher. And this is another one where they really did a pretty decent job trying to replicate the figure pictures. I mean, he's got the two guns in hand, just like that cover image. Of course, the head sculpt, not quite matching up to Mike Zeck, but I think it's pretty solid, pretty decent. That's what theirs is going for. The shoulder joints being out so wide creates this unnatural looking gap. Not really loving that, but I'm curious to see how this Punisher figure will match up next to, say, Daredevil or Wolverine and Captain America. He definitely looks like he's burly, brawnier, and just a little bit ready to rumble with these guys. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like. I mean, here you go. It's pretty close to that. There's a last look. Got this up close, and it looks like he's got a magnum with a scope there. That's impressive. So he looks like he's going to have some pretty solid hardware, at least 4 guns. He's not the 2-gun Punisher. So we've got this magnum, we've got the 2 pistols, and of course, the Uzi. So solid. I mean, if nothing else, Punisher is having some guns. So we've got at least this smiley looking head sculpt, this more serious upturned face. And then I think we got this one. So that's the 3 head sculpt options, or is this the same as this one? Probably the same. So at least 2 head sculpts, but I don't know. I kind of dig this one, and I'm not grabbing a lot of MAFEX Marvel figures simply because I'm really in deep with Marvel Legends. I think the ones we've gotten have been solid, but I think if you're building a MAFEX collection, this Punisher really does look nice. So you can see here, this piece here is pretty close to how Zeck drew it. I mean, there are canisters on this drawing, and it looks like the figure has them as well. So really nicely done, getting them teeth coming down from the skull. But I like this figure. I think it's pretty solid. Just want to see how he looks compared to some of the other ones we've already gotten from. Next up is from Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Venom, and this one has a lot of competition with some supersized, oversized Venom figures. So we've got that new Gamerverse version. Saw that in hand this week. It looks pretty impressive. This one, I like how it has that slimy symbiote kind of coating on it. So it's not like a straight up black. I like that it actually looks alive and it's moving around his body. The way they did the texture, really nice work there. Is his head too small? Kind of looks like it might be. I mean, his shoulders definitely are bigger than this head. So that might be something hopefully they can tweak up a little bit because it definitely looks like this shoulder is massive compared to the head. So we got some great articulation, of course. You'd expect that. And I really like the tongue sticking out and look at all that detail on the teeth. That is really solid work there. But I mean, this wet look for the whole body, that's such a cool effect. It looks really good on him. Look at the detail on the tongue too. I mean, it's got all kinds of spots. Good work. The teeth are jagged. It's not a jagged little thrill or pill, but woo, they look serious. So nice work there. Got some more tendril attachments for the back. I guess this is going to be a separate attachment here on the back part here, but that looks cool. More tendril action, deep stance, and his shoulders in motion don't look as awkward as they do with the Punisher. Maybe this head is a little bit bigger. We'll see. Here's one last look. Tom Hardy head sculpt visible, and that looks really creepy. I feel like that might be a really cool way to display him. Again, you can see these massive shoulders, but the wet look on the body, the paint work there, really solid stuff. Last one from MAFEX is from a figure, and I had this way back from a whole year ago. At San Diego Comic Con, they revealed these figures. I guess this was right around the same time. And we got Age of Apocalypse Cyclops, we got X-Men, and then we got Iceman, this grayscale render. And I was like, oh, this looks like it could be the Iceman that I've been waiting on Marvel Legends to deliver all this time. And they've continued to say, nah, we're going to get him later. We'll do him later. But this time is up. I mean, they showed this a year ago, and we still haven't gotten anything comparable from Marvel Legends, from Hasbro. And now it's time. MAFEX said, here you go. Look at this Iceman figure. They managed to get the ice effect without making him look super translucent because that's always a thing that I think kind of ruins Iceman figures. He's not see-through to the point where you should see his joints or like his organs when he's iced up. I always think that looks weird. They were able to accomplish this where he looks sufficiently iced up without seeing through. And this is what I wanted from this guy. I mean, what a great job they did with this paint. So you can see we got some blues, some light blues, a little bit of gray, sort of pearlescent white going on in there. Great job with this. I'm not going to be able to look through Iceman because I just always thought that was weird. So that sculpt was fine. And got a little smirk. That's perfect because he's always the cocky, overconfident member of the X-Men or X Factor. So this is really solid. I guess this is going to fit in a little bit better with your Jim Lee Gold team or your precursor to the all new X-Men squad based on that X. I guess this can also fit in with your champions, your new defenders. I mean, this Iceman figure covers a lot of ground and it looks really good. Let's check out some of the other options for him. We got the Angry Intense head sculpt. And this base is not a full-on ice slide, it's just a little small one, but this works in pretty well if you want to capture that X-Men #1 cover where it's Cyclops, Iceman, and Wolverine on one end, and then they're the ones that are almost at the front of the line about to get to Magneto. But Iceman looks really good, and having a base form makes a lot of sense too. And this looks like it's got some nice layers to the ice. And this base is pretty cool. I mean, Iceman is one. He should have been so simple, easy to knock out. We just haven't gotten a good one. This one finally is a really good Iceman figure. And so we've got these ice effects around his hands that we've seen so many times in the comics. So this looks good too. And again, got the bright lights shining through, but you can't see through him. He's not John Cena. And I love how this effect piece came out because this looks exactly like it does in a comic book too. And one last look at him, got to stand. So if you want to have him balancing on his ice slide or the start of his ice slide, there you go. I mean, this is yes, finally a good Iceman figure. Not just a great one. And I don't get a lot of MAFEX figures, but this one is so copped unless Hasbro shows something better than this figure over the course of the next few days. But this one, this looks really good and Very happy with how it turned out. I had high hopes for this bad boy a year ago, and actually seeing him here all iced up, solid, and so worth the wait. And it's funny for everything that we see over the course of the next week with MAFEX, basically it's not going to be till next year's Comic Con before we actually get the pre-order because it's not like this guy's in hand. But whatever, this figure looks really good. Happy to be able to grab him and add him to my collection. One of my first MAFEX figures from Marvel. So that's going to be a big accomplishment. But this figure looks really good. Now, let's go to the one Marvel Legend reveal that got out there today. Presumably part of the X-Men 97 Wave 3. And it's this guy, Morph. He makes a lot of sense. Adding him, he was part of that VHS line a while back, but Morph, I think, was a real star in X-Men 97 season 1. And he was so cool being able to turn into everybody. So that was fun. You can see Morph has the open hands, some fists, a smiling portrait, and kind of Peter Parker on there. I like the version of this head sculpt. I'm wondering if I could use this for my Age of Apocalypse Morph because I kind of like that a little bit more than the one we have. But the other head sculpt, though, the Henry Garrick, that's gonna be perfect because I think that might be my favorite part of this figure, even though Morph is cool. But this I can actually use for another suited body character. Henry Garrick can be a straight up nuisance to the Avengers. So he gets to go onto that shelf. So I just need to figure out which suit body is the best fit for him. So that is like a 2-in-1 basically for me here. Get a Morph figure that I wanted and get Henry Garrick as a bonus. Here's some more images of Morph. You can definitely see smaller mold than what we've gotten from some of these other figures. Definitely slender, small, excuse me, a little bit skinnier than our average figure. And the molded jacket doesn't have the kind of detail that we've seen from some of the other Marvel Legend figures. I love the shading in Morph's head, though. Check that out. The eyes look like they've got a nice little bit of shading. Maybe Morph hasn't slept well lately, but I really like how just easy this figure looks to pose thanks to this ab crunch joint here. Can spread his legs out pretty far. Good stuff there. And then got unmasked Morph. I like the cocky smile. Got a little bit of mischievous look to him there, and it poses up just fine. This is a nice Morph figure. I didn't get the VHS one, which I think if you want to have a non-cartoonish look, is probably the better way to go. But if you don't have a Morph before already in your collection, this is the way to go. Plus, you get that very cool bonus of adding this Henry Garrick head sculpt. And that really adds a lot to me for this. But good job with Morph. So looking forward to seeing the rest of this X-Men 97 wave. Morph is a really good start. But yeah, that Iceman figure is the real winner to me of these 4 reveals. Very excited. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be over here doing these pop-up videos for the next few days as we get more stuff. Quick update on scheduling because it's going to be all over the place. For sure tonight, the regular Lyle's Movie File is going to talk about Fantastic Four in more detail. Of course, I won't spoil anything because I hate when people do that. So I won't do it talking about it tonight. Then I'm probably going to come on and do a live talking about what's showing at preview night. So if you want to hang around, come back in like maybe 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to talk about what we've seen already at preview night. Thursday, probably going to do an abbreviated version of the standard Lyle's Figure Files, talking about what we've seen so far. And then Friday, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, WWE, Marvel Legends. I'll talk about all that as those panels break down. And then I'm going to wrap up with a longer special Friday night live of Lyle's Figure Files. So lots of stuff, lots of excitement coming down the pike here. The San Diego Comic Con gets underway. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about these figures. I'll be back real soon. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.